Welcome back to the Matter of Facts podcast. I'm Phil Ravelay. As I alluded to in a podcast we recently released, I wanted to take a look at a pair of speedloaders for revolvers. This is an HKS. This is a Safariland Comp J2. They operate on completely different mechanisms. The HKS is probably a little bit better known. The Comp J2s you don't see in a lot of your local gun stores, or at least I don't around where I live. These are far more ubiquitous. But somebody recommended I give these a try and see if I liked them any better, if they were any faster, and honestly, that looked like an opportunity to do a little bit of head-to-head testing and instrument testing and try to see which of these two really kind of fit my uses better. To give you all an idea of the testing protocol, which is fairly informal, revolver's clear. This is my Ruger GP100. It's a 357 6-shot revolver. There'll be a tabletop review on this in the near future. I just haven't quite gotten my thoughts together on it, and I honestly don't have a lot of experience with it. This is fairly new to me. But I did spend some time with a shot timer trying to compare these two to see which one was ultimately faster and which one was more consistent, because in my book, consistency counts for more. If I get one run where this is faster, but 3 times out of 4 this is faster, this is what I want, because I want the thing is going to put the rounds into the weapon consistently quicker, not just that one miracle where everything happens to go right. But let me take y'all in a little bit closer so y'all can see how these actually work, and I'll go through the times I found and kind of my final thoughts on these. This is going to be a short video, and I'm going to include links to both of these through our Amazon affiliate link. If y'all want to purchase either one, going through the affiliate link throws a couple of bucks into my tip jar. It helps me fund these kinds of things, because this all came out of my pocket. And just for the safety conscious among you, these are commercially available snap caps. These are homemade dummy rounds, because I reload, I have all the components. But there's no powders, no primers. We're going to be perfectly safe doing this. And when I get to the tabletop review portion of this, I will explain to y'all exactly what I did to come across the numbers and the conclusion that I did. Alright, now, this, as I said earlier, is the Hks Speedloader. This little silver knob on the back end, twist one direction or the other, that's what actually releases the rounds. This Safariland Comp J2 has a plunger in the center. I'm not sure how well y'all can see that. When that contacts the center of the ejector star, that is what releases the rounds. It's also worth pointing out that this is attached to this knob on the back end, so you have to make sure you hold this by the body, not by this, unlike this, where you actually hold it by the knob to release it. There's a couple of differences in the use of these two, and we'll get into those in a second. For the testing protocol, what I did was I started with this revolver, cleared, no live ammunition in the room. I actually always made a point to have 6 of these dummy rounds in the revolver, so that my normal reload is to pop the cylinder open, eject the rounds, and then transfer to my non-dominant hand and use my strong hand for manipulating the speedloader in and out of the revolver. That's how I did all these reloads. That's my personal method. Some other way might work better for you. We'll get into another episode about all the different kinds of revolver reloads and what might work better for you. This is my way. But the point is, I always make a point of grabbing the revolver like this and having my thumb over the cylinder, so the cylinder is not going to rotate when we attempt to use this Hks Speedloader. You just slip the nose of all your bullets in, give it a twist, and hopefully all those rounds will drop. You might have seen I had to do just a little bit of a jiggle to get them to drop, and that's typical of these. I'm not the only person that's noticed that. Can sometimes be an issue, but the Hks Speedloader does not consistently drop rounds. Every now and then one of them will hang up, and when that happens, you got to give it a little bit of a jiggle. Once that's done, you just shut an index cylinder, and you're back ready to go hot. The way I actually did this testing was I started from a revolver loaded with dummy rounds, dry fired to initiate the timer, and then as quickly as I could did the reload and fired again from a good shooting stance. So my time from the last shot to the next shot once I was reloaded is what I was measuring. The Hks Speedloader, I got one time of 4 seconds. I got a time of 4 seconds, 4.5, 5, and 5.5. I only had time today to do 4 tries through this, but I've used these a few times before, so this isn't exactly my first rodeo with them. But we had a spread from 4 seconds to 5.5. Now the 5.5 second was like the Hail Mary of everything going bad. First of all, I didn't get the cylinder all the way out when I tried to do my when I tried to eject my rounds. I did that with this and with the Safariland Comp J2 once, which is just lack of practice for me. But I also had an issue where when I tried to get the rounds to drop, 2 of them hung up, and I had to kind of shake it and jiggle it to get the speedloader disengaged from the rounds, and then shut and then go back to work. So that's a second and a half from the fastest reload to the slowest reload, 4 seconds to 5.5. Now, take all these out. For the Safariland Comp J2, your method of reloading is to grab it by the body, not by this knob, and all you do is press until you hear that click. As soon as that happens, this plunger gets pressed down, which releases all the rounds. And in my experience, this releases much more consistently than the Hks Speedloader does. My times for the Safariland Comp J2 varied from 3.8 seconds up to 4.5. So I did have one time when this was faster than this, but the averages speak for themselves. I mean, my average on the Safariland Comp J2 was almost a half second faster than the Hks because of that 5 and that 5.5 second reload I had where the rounds kept hanging up. So, I mean, could that be mitigated with more practice? Maybe, but I have equal training time on these two, actually slightly more with the Hks than with the Safariland Comp J2. I'm new to this one. This one I've used a little bit. I'm not an expert with either one. But my initial kind of gut feeling is telling me every single time I use this released more consistently. This was quicker. Not dramatically quicker, but it was consistently quicker. And I'll take consistent reloads over every now and then I get lucky and this beats the other one. But let's call it what it is. If we're talking about reloading 6 rounds in a revolver, then we're not all Jerry Michalek. We're not all going to pull off this miracle lightning fast reload. But the point is to consistently get rounds into the firearm. And to me, if you have a speedloader that gives you a chance of fumbling, that's something that's going to be amplified and more present under stress than without stress. So my initial gut check feeling is telling me this is not the one I favor. The simple fact that even under the best of circumstances, with a perfectly clean gun, with perfectly made dummy rounds that I know for a fact are not oversized in any way, in all the best of circumstances, this is still more consistent. So if I get a little bit of grit in the gun, or if I get nervous, my hand starts shaking, something tells me this is still going to be more consistent than this. Somebody out there is going to disagree with me, and that's fine. I really wish you would. I wish you'd leave me a comment and tell me how wrong I am. Let's have a conversation about it. But right here, right now, I'm going to give a recommendation towards Safariland Comp J2. Like I said in the podcast, there's also J1, which is a little shorter. There's a J3, which is taller, meant for competition use. But I think this is the Goldilocks for concealed carry gun. If you want to concealed carry a revolver, or even if you just want to open carry a revolver, you want to have some extra ammo on tap, 2 of these in a pouch would be the way I'd go about it. I don't know that I'm going to throw this one out because, it works, but I'm not going to buy any more of these, not after this experiment. I really had no idea which way this was going to go. I'm not entirely surprised it went either the way it did, but until I actually got one of these and used it, I really wasn't sure which I was going to prefer. But this works better for me. If it doesn't work better for you, leave me a comment and let's have a discussion about it. But I would ask for everybody that leave me some feedback. Let me know what you think. If you want to see more of these kind of head-to-head tests, give me some suggestions. Anything within my ability to afford it that I can bring into the tabletop review and I can compare one thing to another or even do instrumented testing, I'd love to get involved in. And to help support the show, I'd ask that you go check out the link where it says support the show down in the show description. And just, if you are shopping on Amazon already and you have the presence of mind to check these Amazon affiliate links, it does throw a few bucks in my tip jar. It helps me offset the cost of speedloaders and hopefully bigger and better things in the future. But please leave me some feedback. Don't forget to check out the blog, the Facebook page, and the podcast. And I'll talk to y'all next time.